हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू अनदर वीडियो ऑफ स्पार्क। आज की वीडियो में हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं राइटर एपीआई के बारे में। हम लोग देखने वाले हैं कि स्पार्क में हम लोग फाइल्स कैसे राइट करते हैं एंड व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन टेक्निक व्हाइल राइटिंग द फाइल इन द स्पार्क। तो इसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, आपसे पूछे जाते हैं कि टेल मी सम ऑफ द ऑप्टिमाइजेशन टेक्निक विच हैव यूज्ड इन स्पार्क. So you can tell that while writing the file also there are few multiple optimization thing which you can use to optimize your Spark application. तो उसके बारे में हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं and we are going to see the how writer API works. Data frame writer API है वो कैसे काम करती है. So on the screen you can see this program in which we have read this CSV file and I have mentioned here file format. This is the same thing which you would have seen in my previous video. So I have this file people100.csv. I have downloaded from the Google. I have 100 records in that, and the same I'm not going to do any of the transformation. Directly see data frame ko I'm going to write it. So I'm just giving the format Parquet. You can give any format, Avro, XML, or anything. You can also use the ODBC or JDBC connection to write the output to any of the external database. There are multiple connector for Snowflake, for the other database. For Teradata also you have a connector, so you can use that connector to write the output directly to, for example, you are going to write the output to Snowflake, you can directly write the output to Snowflake. But that is not the way how in the production it works. You can write the output into Snowflake through Spark, but people don't generally do in that way. We store into some of the AWS layer, AWS storage, and from there we move it to the Snowflake because there are multiple checks to be done before writing the output to the Snowflake. So by default the format is Parquet. So if you have not mentioned any format, but then by default the format will be Parquet format. The mode is overwrite. I'll just tell you what are the different modes available. Here this is the path. So I have given the full project path and I have given the directory for Parquet location. So now just for this example, just comment this one. So I'm just going to save it. So if I run this program, it will go into this directory and create the files. Okay. Now we'll talk about the mode. What is the different modes available and what is the meaning of it? So when you hover the mouse here, you can see like in the on the screen there are different modes like append. There is append, overwrite, error if exist, and ignore. So what is the append mode? If you write mode and append here, append means if in this directory, for example in the Parquet location directory, if there already exists any file, any file, not necessarily the output of this program, any file, if it's present there, then what will happen in this mode, append mode, it will create the another file of a output there. So this, when we write append mode, it is not going to bother about it, is not going to look into what that file is about. If any file is exists there, it will create the output. Okay. Overwrite means the another mode is overwrite. Overwrite means it will overwrite the particular directory. For example, in this directory already the file is there. If you see in this directory already the file is there. So if I run this program, I have written the mode override, then it will again delete this one and again write the output into it. Okay. So that's an override. Now we are going to different mode. The other mode is error if exist. So if there is an error means if already the file is present, any of the output file is present into this target directory. So if we have mentioned error if exists, then it will exist with an error that all file is already present there. The last one is ignore. In the ignore, what happens? It will not give you the error. It will simply just run the program, but your output will be not be available. So for example, if already the file is present into this Parquet location, in this case, if we write here the mode ignored, then it will ignore this path and it will not write anything, and your program will just end gracefully. There will be no error. So in error if exists, there will be an error. In override, it will override the output. In append, it will just create its own file irrespective of there is a file or if there is no file present previously. Right. Now I'm going to run this program. So I have written the mode override. That means this particular thing will be again be written. Okay. So now if you refresh it, you'll see again this is created. This time I'm going to write another location. Let's see. I have not created the particular directory and I have given the new name. Let's see, it's going to create this path or it will give an error. We'll run it again. Let me save this one. Okay, so that means if the particular target directory is not created, then it will create and write the output. You see, this directory is created now, parquet location 1, and it's created the output there. Now you see that uh, this there are one partition, part 00001 0. That means 0 is the first partition. So you have only one partition. So now I'm going to talk about the optimization thing while you write the output in the Spark. The first thing is, if you have 10 partition, then it will create a 10 output files. So if we have very large number of partition, then it will create large number of files in the directory. And in some of the cases, that can be the problem if your other application is going to use that one. And also, if you have multiple partitions, then multiple executor will be running to write the output, and that will be overhead to the Spark system. So we, according to our data load, we have to understand what number of partition we have to give. So we'll see that how we'll manage the partition. The other thing is you can also do the bucketing. Bucketing means you can give the number of partition, means number of bucket you can give, and you can tell the program that write the files. If you have millions of record, and if you have created the bucket of 100, then it will write all the millions of record as per the hash algorithm. It will write it into only 100 buckets. Partition means if you do the partition on particular what you call it, a particular key, for example name. So if you have 100 unique name, it will create 100 partition. The other thing is how to limit the size of the file. So there are ways which you can write the command in which you can limit the size of the file. That also we are going to look into. So now in this case, I'm interested in knowing the number of partition. Okay, what is the number of partition and what is the number of records? Sometimes while debugging the optimization thing in the Spark, the most of the optimization thing or most of the bottleneck happens in the partition side. If there is a skewness, then also partition thing will come when you're writing the file and it is taking long time while writing the file. Now the question is where, how you will come to know that your Spark program is taking a long time while writing the output. So that you can get it from the Spark UI. If from the Spark UI, you will understand on which stages the Spark is, which job it is running. If it is in the right job, writing the output, then you can understand that most of the time is consumed while writing the output. There you can see the partition. Then again the partition concept will come. So to debug this kind of situation, we should know that how many number of partition a particular data frame has. In this scenario, we are going to check that how many number of partition the output data frame is. Like this is my output data frame read CSV. So for knowing the number of partition, we need to convert into a data frame. The read CSV is a data frame into an RDD.RDD and get number of partition, and then we are going to print this. Now we need to also know that how many number of records are there in each partition. So same data frame, we do the group by on the partition ID. For example, if there is 10 partition, then it will create a 10 group, and each group it will count the number of records and so on. I'll run this command again. Sorry, I'll run this program again. You can see that I had 100 records, so it has done the 100 count and in the first partition. So I'm just going to do one thing. I have read this file. I'm going to create a different partition. So read CSV dot repartition, and I'm just going to give any number. For example, 3. Okay, and I'll write it here. ABC equal to ABC dot write ABC. Okay. ABC. Okay. Save it. Now see, I have given 3 partition. I have repartition on 3 number. So it has created 3 partition, and it has tried to what you call distribute the output of the record into this 3 partition. So earlier it was one partition, now we have three partition. And you can see in the output also you have three parts, 0, 1, 2, right? One is the Parquet exact data file. So this is the 001, 002, 003. Sorry, 002, 1, 0. So this is three partition, and you can see number of partition and how this record is. Fine. Now there is partition by, in which you can give the on which column you want to do the partition. So now we are going to see the partition by on particular column. We already seen the repartition. So we are going to see the partition by. So I'm taking this job title because I think that multiple values will be repeated here. If there are multiple unique values, then it will create multiple unique partition. So if you would have studied Hive earlier somewhere, so there you would have seen that when we create a partition, we write partition. For example, you are going to create a partition on city, and the value is Mumbai. So the one partition will be city equal to Mumbai. If there is another value of Delhi, so there will be another partition in which city equal to Delhi. So this kind of partition is created. So in this also it will work on the same way. So just I have written it here partition by while writing the output, and I have given the column name job title. You can give multiple column just by comma and giving the column name. So I'm just going to give one column. I'm just going to save it. I'll run this. Okay. Now when you go and see this, what is the location log 1. So you see you will have multiple directories or partition created for each of the unique job title. For example, the job title is agricultural consultant. So there will be one partition into that. Okay. So if you give two column here, so on the basis of these two column values, the partition will be created. This is very much helpful. For example, this output someone is using, for example, on this particular output, any Hive table is there, or any of the external databases can use this file and can create a table on top of it. So when you do the searching, if you do select star from this file where job title is air broker, so in that case, there will be no what you call searching in all the file. It will not scan the full file. It will just go into that particular directory and just scan, go through all this records in this part. So partition and partition by is very much useful thing and a great optimization technique. So the other optimization technique is limiting the file size for each partition. Then you can use max record file size. So you can check that statement in the documentation. So that can limit the number of records in particular partition. There's another thing which I had mentioned, bucketing. You can use the bucketing in which you can, like in the partition itself, you can give the number of partition and the column. So that is a kind of bucketing. So you can use bucketing with the partition. The other thing is sorting, because if you sort the data and then store it, then if you write any queries on top of that, that will perform better. And if you have the same search pattern in the where clause. So the optimization technique while writing is partition, repartition, partition by. There is number of max record count or size, max record size. Then there is bucketing, and then the last one is the sorting. So these are the different optimization technique which you can use it. You can just check documentation of bucketing, or I will create a new separate videos for specific for bucketing. So you can check the videos for you can check the documentation for bucketing, and also for the max file size, max length of the max number of records in a file, and also for the sorting. So these are important topics, and the question comes from this one, like what are the different optimization technique in the Spark. So this can be your one of the answer. Okay. So if you have any doubt in this concept, or if you're facing any issues while simulating this thing in your system, please post your question in the comment. And if you want to do the setup of the PyCharm on your Mac machine with the Spark configure, you can check my previous video. In one of the video I have just demoed it in very easy steps. So that will be useful and helpful for you. फिर मिलेंगे नए वीडियो के साथ. अगर आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किए तो प्लीज़ चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, मुझे काफ़ी मदद मिलती है. और वीडियो को लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें. तब तक के लिए अपना ख्याल रखिए. टेक केयर एंड बी हैप्पी लर्निंग.